Hi there. My name is Kay Moon, and I'm a twin flame channel and Western astrologer. And this is a video about a 2020 Union Energy update. It is Union Energy update number two for twin flames for the year of 2020. I provided the first Union Energy update on March 21st of 2020, and you can find that on my channel on the Twin Flame. I believe it's the Twin Flame Astrology playlist, but it's also the pinned video channel trailer if you'd like to have a look at that. This video follows up on and builds on the energies of um, the what's going on for the twins in 2020. This is relevant for both twins who are in union and twins who are not. I've noticed that both twins are experiencing this energy. And it's an energy of being asked to focus your lives in directions that have nothing to do with one another, can be supported by one another, but are actively directed toward other things. And that's the energy of 2020. And so for the first part of the year, I was really prompted to um, make way and make space for clients who really wanted to begin to focus on their light work and really deepen their connection to self as a way of preparing for union. Now that we've passed the solstice gateway on the 21st of June, and we are headed into the pre solstice gateway for the 21st of December, there is another shift in the energies. On the 21st of December, we will see the very first union window open up for twins for the entire year. There hasn't been one that opened up based on the way I read the stars for the year, but there is one coming, and these next several months will be preparatory for that. This video details 11 ways that I have seen this energy already start to anchor in the lives of many of my clients, many of my twin friends. And it's really kind of not straightforward, I'll be honest. There are some things that are straightforward. However, many of you who either A, are in union, or B, coming close to it, have seen how this energy is very much two steps forward, one step back, another two step forward, one step back. And this is the nature of having entered into the Sagittarius Gemini eclipse cycle, which I covered in the video about the eclipse cycle. So you may want to check that out as well. This is the nature of the movement into a new season. In this video, I'll talk about the 11 ways that I've seen union energy begin to anchor, including the ways that feel like, oh, that can't possibly union. It is, and there are very good reasons why. And then I'm also assisted by Lee and Sherry of Relationship Reinvented, who are twins in union. They've been in union for some time. And they are coaches, and they offer a coaching program for twins who are, or people who are just called to the energy of divine connection, who want to become coaches. You can learn their methodology and step into your light work via that avenue. You'll hear questions from private listers about experiences that they're going through when it comes to their own connection and their own energy. And I just really bow down to applaud, support, and am grateful for each and every one of you who is on the private list. It's your questions that stand in here for the collective, and I deeply appreciate your willingness to be vulnerable, transparent, and honest. You're going to hear questions that may reflect pieces of your journey, so I encourage you to listen to the very end, because there'll be situations that you may find highly resonant and very familiar, and Lee and Sherry's answer about how to utilize and leverage the circumstances to move toward greater union will be very helpful for you. Lastly, I'd like to share that our beloved Sherry from Relationships Reinvented is battling a very life threatening illness at this time. And she and Lee have graciously allowed the community to step in and support them with hospital bills. There is a GoFundMe available to assist Sherry's recovery, but also her medical support that she needs at this time. As you know, it's a very trying time to be battling a life threatening illness. And so the link to the GoFundMe is going to be below in the description box. All donations, even if you can only donate $1, are 100% appreciated and assist them with continuing to contribute to the Twin Flame and the Divine Connection community in ways that they have for so many years. They have supported so many of us. Let's now make sure that we give back to them. I thank you so much for watching, listening, subscribing, and sharing. And here's the update. Let's dig into it. Got the copy of this. And then let me just confirm for everyone what we're all here to do and what we're all getting up to. I'm Kay Moon. You are now joined by myself and Lee and Sherry. And I from Relationship Reinvented, and I am super pumped about this little conversation that we're about to have. Because this is actually a turning point in our astrological year. And this particular turning point marks a turning point in one of the most difficult years we've had on planet Earth in a long time. And there's purpose to the difficulty, right? There's, a reason for all of it. And many of you have seen it, you intuitively know it. Lee and Sherry are going to talk about it, that there's a great awakening going on planet Earth right now. And you guys are a really big part of that as twin flames. There is this particular moment is a moment where a lot of us as human beings are starting to understand our role on planet Earth. We're starting to understand what it is we've come to do and what it is we need to do in order to be able to live out our purpose. And the call has really gone out. The call has gone out for people to start the process of doing what we came to do. And in order to do that, there's a lot of integration with ourselves, union with self, that is being called for at this time. And so the first half of this year was really, the reckoning and the rumble, kind of the awareness of, and the revelation, I should say, the revelation and the reckoning of the places we've been really out of alignment. And those things really would have been revealed to us in various areas of our life where we need to step into greater alignment with who we really are. And the second half of the year is really us putting pedal to the metal to begin the process of realigning our lives to do so. And so at the start of the year, around March, February, I put out the union energy update for the year to talk about what the energy was like for all of us for the year. Both Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine are working on very different things this year. Even for twins in union, there's like, okay, I got to focus on this. And I know you're focusing on that, and we can work together on these parts, but I'm going to work on these parts. These are just me, my parts. And so now at this turning point, there's a new set of energies coming in and anchoring at this turning point. And these new energies are showing us when and how we are being called to work together, even when it doesn't seem like it. It's the merging of the energies. Things are starting to flow together in a way, even when it doesn't feel like it, even when it doesn't look like it. Things are starting to merge. And so there's a really beautiful energy coming on board. And so what I wanted to do was kind of talk to you about the next open window where there will be a large wave of union energy hitting planet Earth. And that's coming up here on the solstice, the December solstice for this year. And the energy of that is already starting to be felt now. And I'm noticing in my conversations with clients, and I'm tracking this, that there have been 11 ways that this energy is starting to be felt in twin connections. And I want to review them with you so that when you start experiencing them, they don't freak you out. Because even there are some of the ways I've noticed that you might not think are union energies, but they actually really are. And I know Lee and Sherry, you guys can really speak to some of that, how that looks and how that works. So I'm going to go ahead and just share screen really quick. And after I'm done kind of giving you guys this transmission, what we'll do is I'll walk you through the 11 ways that have shown up, so that once we've given that transmission, then Lee and Sherry will take your questions around, all right, well, this is how this energy is presenting in my connection. How do I even begin to start dealing with this? And you'll also be given the opportunity to take a deeper dive with the two of them if you'd like to do that, so that you can start to, I don't know if you guys know that sport curling, where, there's, the people who have the brooms that sweep the way for the little disc to move forward. Union energies are coming down the pike, and you want to sweep the way so that it is extra smooth between you and your twin as things start to move forward. And Lee and Sherry can really help you smooth the way. So here's, you guys are agreeing that sweeping the way is helpful?
We're kind of the brooms.
We're the brooms.
Well, actually, we're like the little bristles in the broom.
Yeah.
We're in there somewhere. We're in there somewhere.
You guys go above and beyond in making sure that people have the clarity that they need. So, and the support that they need in order to be able to have that disc keep flowing smoothly. And I'm just pumped to be able to share this with people today. So this is a chart that was cast for the full moon in Capricorn, and that happened this past weekend on July 5th. And so the interesting thing about this chart is that this marked the turning point of the year. This was the last, I believe, eclipse on the Capricorn Cancer eclipse axis. We are now moving into the Sag Gemini eclipse axis fully. It wasn't the very last, it's the second to last. And the Capricorn Cancer axis was all about our relationships to work and home, where we live and where we work, how we feel, and then the structure of our lives. And making sure that the structure of our lives was representative of the truth that was in our hearts. Cancer
has the answer.
Yeah, something like that.
There she goes.
Is she back?
Yeah, she back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yay.
Oh, there you are. Yay.
I was just saying that Cancer really holds the emotional truths of who we are and what we want and how we feel. And Capricorn, its opposite sign, is, here's Cancer, here's Capricorn. The Capricornian energy is all about the structure that we allow that truth to exist within. And this year, we've had a huge amount of energy that has been calling us to tear down structures that no longer serve the truth of who we are, the emotions that we have in our heart. If we're not living from our heart, this Capricornian energy has been saying, tear it down, break it down. Here's where it doesn't work. Here's where things fall flat, where they don't move. And so all of us have this energy in one area of our chart. You know, it's one of these 12 houses is an area of our life. And what's going to happen as we move forward, and I mentioned this in the first union energy update back in March, is that divine feminine here in Libra, the sign of relationships, has been facing self, Aries. Divine masculine here in the sign of work has been facing heart in the sign of Cancer here. And so it's the energies that they've been asked to play with cover the entirety of the zodiac, even though they're not placed in what astrologers call harmonious signs. These are squaring signs at 90-degree angles, so they don't work smoothly together, but the tension brings about motivation, and that motivation is for resolution and integration. So what's about to happen and what's already happened, the divine feminine has gone retrograde. She is now moving direct. Our feminine energies are now moving direct in the sign of Libra, and she's moving toward completion of an extended stay in the sign of partnerships, balance, and relationships. The divine masculine is currently moving retrograde. That's what that little R means there, in the sign of work and structure, and meeting up with Pluto, Lord of the Underworld, 3 times this year. And the second time was right around this full moon in Capricorn. And so in mundane astrology, that Jupiter represents faith, optimism, hope. But when Jupiter goes retrograde, instead of projecting that outside, we have to source it from within. We have to source our faith and source our hope from inside of us. And so this is a particular, I've noticed when Jupiter tends to go retrograde, it can be a particularly quiet moment into twin connections as people go within and really start to work with their own masculine energies around, okay, how do I need to restructure things? And that's this year because we're in the sign of structure. Okay, now some big changes are about to occur. Jupiter is going to go direct. Let me just see if I can pull that exact date for us. That's coming up pretty quickly here. Jupiter goes direct on September 13th. So about a month and a half away. No, 2 months. 2 months. And then once Jupiter goes direct, let's just get out here. That's 9/13. Okay, now we've got the divine feminine here. She is about to exit the sign of partnership and move into Scorpio, which is all about the transmutation and alchemy, death, afterlife, and rebirth, the resurrection cycle. Here he is when he goes direct. He's at the 17th degree of Capricorn. They are almost in signs that are 60 degrees apart. We call that a sextile in astrology. Those are harmonious angles when they are 60 degrees apart, 2 signs apart. They get to be at their most harmonious once we reach the solstice. So I'll just show you guys that date. So we're headed toward the harmony. Here's the solstice. And here is divine feminine here at the 1st degree of Sagittarius, fire. Here's divine masculine here, almost to the 1st degree of Aquarius, air, a true sextile, and fire and air play very nicely together. And this harmonious energy is what's going to start beaming a lot more union energy toward planet Earth between the 2 of these. And they're going to be in these harmonious signs for an entire year. Now, normally we can count on Juno to move every 40 days or so. Jupiter takes a year to get through a sign. Juno can pass through a sign in 40 days and keep things moving. But she's going to retrograde in Sagittarius, the sign of truth, faith, hope, and optimism. And this is going to be a full year of divine feminine needing to anchor in the energies of her faith and calling forward and grounding in the energy of truth and freedom for connections. Divine masculine for the entire year is going to anchor into the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is the new, the next. It's the revolution. It is technology. It is also divinity incarnate. So there's this entire year of this union energy for both twins. And there are some patterns already starting to emerge to show you that this is coming. So let's get into those patterns, shall we? Because you're going to be able to feel them. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the screen now for a second. Pull up my little YouTube, or my little document here to help me. Sometimes I need assistance from my notes.
It's all good.
Awesome. Okay, so let me just pull that out. And I am going to share this with those of you who've been on the private list, this document, so that you can just remember this. You can print this out, you can place it wherever you want. But I'd like you to have this so that when things start to look a little like this can't possibly be union, you remember, oh, it is. All right. So here's my notes. The first things first, you may notice that there's some level of increased communication from your twin person. And that's to be expected. That's rather normal. One of the things that I loved about Lee and Sherry's live stream when they were both on the panel and when we interviewed them for their one-on-one is that they shared that they actually never stopped communicating. They actually, as hard as things got, as messy as things got, they stayed in communication. They didn't let communication drop or break. And I think that's really, really important. And I think, Lee, you're going to share a bit about that with us in a minute. Yes? Please do. The other thing that's important to note is that the divine masculine next year is going to sit in an air sign all year. That is a communication sign. And so it's important to understand our own patterns in communication, what we bring for communication to the table, where we need to up-level the way we communicate so that we are actually demonstrating that we are open for number 2. Confessions and disclosures of previously withheld information from both sides. Even if it's not the best of news, if it's truthful communication, it is a step toward union. One of the things that Lee and Sherry have kind of spoken about on their own channel and at length is that this connection can't live in lies. It cannot live when there is lack of true communication. And so there have been many of you who have come to me and you've said, oh my God, my twin just told me he's having a baby with somebody else, or oh no, my twin's getting married to somebody else, it's over. And I say, actually, it's not. The connection is never over. And if you are getting truthful information that was previously not disclosed, this is a step toward the connection being closer than it ever was. Number 3, you maybe start feeling your twin in your energetic space before you wake or as you go to sleep. So mornings, evenings, sometimes all day, you may start to feel the presence of your twin energetically, even though they are not there, or even if you haven't spoken in a long time. Treat the presence that you're feeling as if they are there, as opposed to as if you're going crazy. Talk to them, share energy with them, speak to them as if they were there, lovingly dote on them, turn toward them as opposed to turning away from the connection. That will help. Something that a lot of people have mentioned is that if your twin is with a soulmate, you may start to feel the intimacy that your twin is having with that soulmate. That's not always fun, to feel your twin having sex with somebody else. Maybe other than your favorite. I've definitely had some people say, I can smell it, and it is no way fun at all. It's not always, and yet it is union energy. You guys want to do, I still have like 7 more to go, but you guys want to quickly chime in on why this in particular would be a union energy?
You're talking about feeling the intimacy while the other person is with somebody else?
Yes.
Because they're in their body doesn't mean you don't have to be. So it's almost like what you're asking is, or what you're experiencing is, the only time you're in your body is when they actually are trying to touch your body, but they can only touch that through someone else. It's not their choice. But when we looked at it, when we finally came together and was like, how come I could feel you? And she was like, how come I could feel you? And then we kind of realized that we wanted to feel each other because we knew that we were the only two that felt anything. It's almost like you have to search down inside yourself and ask, are you used to being felt?
I can dumb that down a little bit.
Probably.
I can dumb that down a lot, actually.
No.
Listen. It's a union thing because you're not feeling Bill down the street or Susan up the road or Phyllis next door. You're not feeling those people. You're feeling that person that you're connected to.
Because they felt you.
Right. 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 Because you're open enough to understand that and feel that with that person. Yeah. Right. I never felt Bill down the street before I went to sleep. I just didn't. Nope. I'm glad I didn't. But I did feel Lee. And sometimes that wasn't a great thing. Let me tell you. It was painful sometimes feeling that, but that's who I was feeling. I was feeling Lee. I wasn't feeling it. That's how I knew I was connected to him. That's how I knew. I wasn't connected to Bill down the street.
Yeah. And it's kind of a wake-up call in a way, because they know that you feel, it was like I knew that you felt me, and I kept trying to not feel you so you wouldn't feel that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But as I look at it now, I'm like, that's the only way I knew that who I was with, I wasn't feeling them at all.
At all.
So it's like,
right.
So it was like, if I'm trying to make this person you, and I'm like, wait a minute.
We were giving them what we were trying to give to each other, and I wasn't trying to feel it from you.
And literally, I had to try to do it with, it literally was my mind telling me, don't worry, you can have this feeling with another person. And they didn't know what I was showing them. They couldn't feel, they felt elated, but they didn't feel connected.
Right.
That's the best way to put it.
Amazing. Thank you. That's really a really great explanation. And, from my perspective, this is just your fields are merging more and more as one field. You're learning to not be separate. And you're learning the depth of how deep this connection goes. And so until we kind of really get to the place of both of us acknowledging what this connection is and the depth of it and how it works, and the impact we really have on another. Sometimes these are the kind of experiences we can have. All right, number 5, source and, the grids, they just kind of surprisingly bring us together. It's like we keep crossing paths, or they surprisingly reach out, or they initiate, hey, let's get together. Hey, let's talk. Hey, let's connect. Pretty self-explanatory. There could be a resumption of communication after it's been cut off, even if it's only just friends. And I think it's really important to honor the step of just friends if that is a place where somebody feels like that's what they can offer. Can you guys speak to the just friends piece? Oh, you unmute.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We can speak about this. We can speak about this in a way that really, you should really pay attention to what we're about to tell you. If they put you in the friend zone, they know that you're keeping yourself from them. In other words, they can tell that you're not opening up to them at all. You're not giving them a part of yourself. In other words, where's your vulnerability at? Are you connected to it? So this is a test to see if that vulnerability is. Here.
Oh yeah,
So,
you can dance a little.
So if you, yes.
She's
so if you,
back.
okay.
Oh yeah.
So if you really look at what this does, we'll keep talking. When you don't have this communication between you, you don't have the vulnerability to match it. You don't have the connection to match what the feeling represents. So what they're trying to do is create a path or see if that path is there. But they're also checking to see if you're being a friend to yourself before you can be a friend to them.
Makes all of the sense in the world. Thank you. And
Yes, welcome back.
thank you. Yeah, it's interesting. No problems all week, but hey, my power just wants to go out. So it means like the electricity's off, the Wi-Fi and the internet's off, like all of it is out over here, and there is no rain, there is no
We're
storm.
used to it. We had lightning come through our office yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh,
It didn't
God.
strike anything. It just came through.
It wanted to light some things up. It did.
Wow. Okay.
It was amazing.
Well, I'm gonna operate best I can, given the
Okay.
circumstances.
All right. I think everybody, if we took a second, Kay, let's clear the energy so we can be a lot clearer. So if you want to give everybody like maybe 20 seconds to connect to themselves and clear the energy so we don't disconnect, let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. I'm counting it down, starting now. Okay. Now try it, Kay.
Yeah. Well, we're here. The only problem is I'm tethering to a quickly dying cell phone battery. So here's what we'll do. I am going to go through the rest of these. And if you guys lose me, keep going.
Absolutely.
Keep going. And I'm going to trust that the recording is going to go where it needs to go. Let me just also. Okay. All right. All right. So the only other thing I was going to say about the just friends piece is that, sometimes if a twin recognizes your pain out of their love, if they're not able yet or willing yet or can constructively see a way at this time, or even if they're tuned into their own divine timing and they see it's not time yet for them to be anything more to you than a friend, sometimes they will tell you that up front, and as a way to set your expectations to assist you with being less hurt. Now we know that's not less hurtful. And simultaneously, that is them trying to be as honest with you as possible. And it's important to honor that honesty. Seventh one, an honest admission that all they can offer is a friendship, where before they allowed you to engage with in friends with benefits type behavior, without thinking about its impact on you or themselves. They may have before allowed all kinds of intimacy in an anything kind of goes way. And now they may say, okay, we need to clean up the boundaries and be in more integrity with what we're doing versus not doing here. Number 8, your twin may tell you that they're releasing you to move on with your life. If they're currently married to somebody else, they can't actually release the connection, but they are trying to do their best to be honorable with what they can do at this time, which again is union energy. That is an honoring of the connection. That connection cannot anchor in the 3D if there is not truth in the 3D, which we talked about earlier. Number 9, you and your twin beginning to co-create on a project or mentor one another in your areas of expertise and experience. I've had several twins come forward and say, oh, I'm doing this and my twin is kind of mentoring me, or, we're going to create this even though we don't know where anything is in the connection. If they're willing to co-create or be in work with you, that's great. That's fabulous. It's important to receive in terms of connection what they are willing to offer, even if the other pieces aren't clear yet. They will become clear if you just stay connected. Receiving specific and relentless urges to adjust your life in a particular way. Some of you are really getting big messages that you need to move to a place, sell a property, get a divorce, change jobs, start a business as part of, and these messages really can come in as a part of getting ready for your twin and you to be closer by reconstructing the current structure of your life in a way that may allow them a place to be with you. If you've got a super demanding job and you've been getting the persistent message, leave, that may be because as the union energies anchor, there's going to be a type of work that's more aligned with your soul and allows you more breathing space to anchor the connection. Some of you are being told to sell a property so that financially you're in a position to, bring your twin into your life if your twin isn't, financially positioned to be able to come into your life at this point. You never know what the reason is going to be until it plays out down the road, but you will get these nudges that say, do this, make this or that happen. And it may seem unrelated to your twin. Do it anyway. Honor the urge and the guidance anyway, because it will also help facilitate your union with self. And all steps toward union with self will help anchor union and connection with your twin. And the last one here is the release of certain relationships. So, if you've completed soul contract in a marriage, and, I had a woman the other day tell me, like, our marriage is done for all intents and purposes in my mind. I'm like, well, why are you still in it? And then on the phone with me wanting to know where your twin is at. Like, you know what you need to do. Go ahead and handle congruence in your life. This also may be that there are certain friendships that you've outgrown as you've stepped into your light work, people who either diminish you or, discredit you, or with whom there's always been tension. The need for some of these growth relationships may be coming toward completion as you step closer to union with self and union with twin. And so if it's time to complete a relationship, it's important to get whatever assistance or support that you need. Just because things are closing doesn't mean that we have to burn them down. We don't have to burn a bridge in order to close a chapter with someone. And so it's important to honor that. Like, if something's completing, complete it, but do it in the way that honors the way unconditional love has educated you about how to treat people. Okay, so I am, as I said, going to make these available for you guys. I'll send it out to the list so that you can find them. And in limited quantity each month, I'll make a certain amount of twin flame readings available again for the people who have been on the list. just to start assisting you with the process of what your chart is saying for you to do. And in my opinion, the job of a really good reading is to just validate your own intuition, validate your knowing, and elucidate, things that you've struggled to be at peace with so that you can move forward with congruence and clarity and freedom. So look out for those. Look out for the email when they become available. Once they sell out for that month, you may be able to get one the following month. Never fear. But yeah, Lee and Sherry, I want to go ahead and give you guys the floor here. And I also want to open up the floor to questions from our participants. What questions do you guys have?
All right. Let's see here. Sometimes I wake up at a very odd time for me repeatedly. I know with his schedule, that's when he wakes probably. Maybe it's this. And this is from India Rose. India, you want to explain a little bit more what you're talking about there?
I think she meant the piece about feeling your twin in the mornings or at night. Sometimes they'll come in for healing work, and you guys will do healing work together first thing in the morning or last thing at night.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Do you see Sarah Anderson's question at the top there?
I get like a little hand raised thing down at the bottom.
Oh, okay. All right. So Sarah says, how can you be vulnerable if that appears to get on their nerves?
You're saying that vulnerability causes that to get on their nerves? Well, first, let's ask the question. Tell us what vulnerability is to you.
Yeah.
Because we got to make sure we get that clear first. So what is vulnerability to you? And then what are you saying they get annoyed by? Does that make sense? I need to hear both parts.
Okay, I can add a little bit to that. I can add a little bit, right? Because Sherry doesn't like to answer a question with a question.
Just fair.
Right?
Fair enough.
There was a time when his vulnerability annoyed me. And I'll tell you why. Because at that point in time, I was angry that he was able to be vulnerable and I couldn't. So when he was being completely and totally vulnerable with me, it would annoy me because this is too much, or this is the wrong time, or I couldn't handle it. It was just, I couldn't handle seeing him being so vulnerable and I wasn't. You know what I mean? I was so tightly wound.
Mm-hmm.
And it annoyed me because you were able to, and that you were.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, that's why. That's why I was annoyed.
But the beautiful thing about vulnerability, that's why I'm asking what her definition is vulnerability wraps itself around everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you're telling yourself vulnerability gets on their nerves, how are you wrapping yourself around that vulnerability? Because the vulnerability, the connection to your own vulnerability inside should give you the ability to connect, shouldn't give you an ability to disconnect. So if you're in a vulnerable state, what is it that you're saying gets on their nerves? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So like when you were being as hard as a rock, if you noticed, I didn't stop my vulnerability because you had a problem with it. My vulnerability invited me in more. Because if I stay connected to my vulnerability, which is feeling everything, then she was just going to have to meet me there. It wasn't like I was going to change. I mean, that's the goal, right? You want to be felt. So why would you give up what you feel? Regardless of the circumstances of your outer world, your inner world needs to happen first. So anytime that I'm vulnerable with her, I just think of water because that's the most vulnerable thing on the planet. You're going to have to look at what vulnerability means to you.
We can't see the chat, so I don't know.
They
took away our chat, everybody.
I don't take it away. It just it moves them out of the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's go back this way.
Yeah, not so.
Did we lose Kay again? Because I believe she had an order of these questions. Oh.
We're just going to start with one with Sue.
Okay.
I thought you guys went no contact for 2 years, Lee and Sherry. We went contact.
That is absolutely true. So let's clarify, because that
2
makes
years.
a lot of sense with why, when Kay was telling you guys that we always remain in communication. Well, the thing about 2 years, silence. Are you guys telling yourselves that silence isn't communication too?
We did talk to each other an awful lot and had no communication at all.
We still do.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I think that's the foundation
what
of
they
our
mean,
connection.
what she meant was actually physical separation. They weren't
Physical
talking.
separation, right.
They weren't together. And we literally did not talk. We weren't together. We weren't emailing. We weren't in communication at all for those 2 years. But I still felt your presence. I still felt you there. Everywhere I was, I felt you there.
It was interesting because in 2005, I wasn't feeling anything. By the time I came back in 2007, I was feeling everything. Do you see what I'm saying? You need to find your space of where you stop, where you learn how to stop yourself from feeling.
We keep losing the chat, so we can't see what anybody's writing.
I'm here. I'll read stuff to you. I just had to quickly find either another source of internet.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Is everybody good?
I found one. I'm going to connect, but I want to give you this next question.
Okay.
This one says, I opened up, I got a response from him, and this is from Anoa. For months, it's since then been silence. How can I show myself to him when there is no communication from his end?
How often do you open up to a man you're connected to? Because that's where you got to find the space if you don't have it. I mean, we've all been children who've been wounded. Some of those wounds silenced you and silenced our way to communicate to the people you're connected to, mom and dad. If that's not in healing, who are you expecting them to connect to? Your heart. Look inside your heart and see what your heart will accept and what it won't. You're made up of masculine and feminine energy. If you didn't have the masculine there to actually connect with you, the way you feel, the way you think, the way you are, who are you asking your twin to connect to?
Great question and great answer. Thank you. The Vibe and Shine shares that they're getting telepathic messages through the music to say he wishes them all the best.
That's all you.
You guys used to get a lot of that, didn't you?
Man.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot.
If you really want to drive your masculine twin crazy, just listen to music in your head a lot. Oh, they do nothing but hear the music. I swear to God, it's the most beautiful experience, but it becomes a very repetitive experience, especially if every time they go to their head, they hear nothing but music. It drove me nuts. I used to hear that bubbly song. I couldn't get it on. I hated the song.
I didn't like the song either.
But she every time she said, every time I heard this song, I think of you. And she's like, I hate that song.
I hate the song. Yeah.
And it made me feel like she hated me, but the song, the way it made her feel, the way that the girl sounded, the way her voice sounded. But that song wouldn't leave my head. I would be asleep 2:30 in the morning in this damn song. But
I'd cuss him out with music a lot too.
It was a beautiful pathway.
Yeah.
Because music is soul. It really is. If any form of music resonates with you when it comes to your twin, we definitely encourage you to listen to it a lot more.
Yeah. Because
that's going to be better than being in your head disconnected. You need to be in what you feel, right? I mean, that is the purpose of this connection. Who taught you how to feel?
Beautiful. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. India Rose shares that she confirms the getting fired out of nowhere, or she got an online business out of nowhere and fired from a previous job. She moved apartments, lost some friends, and says she finally feels like she's coming into her authentic self, which is most likely a union energy thing. I would agree with that. And then the Vibe and Shine clarify. She asked for clarification. I thought you guys went no contact for 2 years. Is no contact normal for a short period?
Yes, lots of it, actually. It gets really intense at times. Really, really intense. If you're new to this, if you are stumbling across this, really intense. And if you are spiritually minded, right? That doesn't make sense, but it makes perfect sense. Spiritually minded, right? Which to me means you don't listen to the 3D things that your mind tells you. If you're spiritually minded, if your mind knows how to navigate back into the 5D, right? If you're, what was the question? I've lost the question. I've lost the question by getting to the answer. I've turned into Lee. What was the question?
What? How did you turn?
Because you do that.
Dots.
You do that all the time.
I thought you meant no contact. The question was about contact. Is that normal?
Yes, it is normal. Yeah. But it's the no contact doesn't mean no feeling.
Right.
Does that make sense? The no contact doesn't mean no feeling.
Right.
Because there were times when I was feeling her and I just refused to reach out to her. Does that make sense?
It just gets intense and you want to go. And you just go.
You're already going.
Go.
Because the best place to go in this connection, if you want to stay disconnected, is stay in your head.
That's the runner. The runners go. They go. Yeah. I did it a million times.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah. And you know, we kind of were taught that when we were kids, right? You remember the first time somebody didn't come when you cried. You went to your head to try to figure out why nobody was coming, or why certain things happened around you, and nobody explained to you how it would feel. So when you did that, you had to go someplace to figure it out. The thing is, this connection brings back you being in your body, feeling stuff. And you don't see that you've had no contact with your own body. So why are you worried about this connection if you're still broken there? Does that make sense? A bunch of kids went, yeah, we can see you. We see each and every one of your inner children. And see, these children grew up without anybody seeing them. So when you see somebody in this connection and they see you, you're going, you mean somebody can actually see me in here? Yes. Yes, that is true. That is exactly what you're feeling. So the no contact is not necessarily about them as much as it is about you. You know how to go really long periods of time with nobody feeling you. That's not anybody's fault. You should give yourself a break. Because you do deserve to be loved. And you're not going to feel that without that vulnerability, are you? Make sense? So welcome to no contact. Welcome to being back in your body. Try to make it a practice, because you're not going to let them connect to you if you're not connected to yourself, are you? And if you are asking them to be with you and you're telling yourself you're connected to yourself and you're miserable, that's not a connection to yourself. That's where you got to start. And that's why we're here. We're sitting here in some really deep pain, loving all of you, connecting with us. And we are deeply connected in gratitude for it. So thank you. Sorry, I just need to throw that in there somewhere. Okay? Okay. Oh, did we lose her again?
We lose her.
We need to have like a backup host. Yeah,
that's
see?
you.
Oh, look at all the kids. I'm the backup host.
Yes.
When the host isn't present,
she said.
It's like this. But it's beautiful because you guys are really witnessing that If the host isn't there, it doesn't mean you're not connected. Maybe that's the message the universe was trying to give us all along. Welcome to Healing Mountain.
Oh, you got a mountain now?
Yeah. You got to have a foundation of something. If you don't have a foundation of connection, what do you have?
I was like, I could be the backup host.
Right.
Oh,
you could be a better.
yeah.
You could be a better backup host.
Yeah.
We can't even find the chat room.
It's interesting because it even, I think it even, no, it's still recording, so I guess we're good.
I guess we're doing all right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kay puts such beautiful people to connect together, doesn't she? She really does. She says, here, these are connecting pockets of what you're connected to.
let us know if she comes back. We'll stop talking bad about it.
You are handling it brilliantly.
I did send her in the chat some info on how to get a hold of me for like some technical.
Yeah.
Is that Alan? Is he in there?
Is Alan in there too? Sandra and Alan.
They are here, but they've got a thing at.
Oh, there they are.
Shit.
Hi.
Well, now Kay messed up.
She left us 3 set of twins in here. Like, hi, Alan.
Look at all
Hey,
these-
I'm wearing my shirt. My honey made me too.
Oh, I'm sorry, everybody.
No, I'm not.
They no longer know you're here.
So
They have no idea anybody else is in the room. Now that Lee and Alan is in the room and Danny's here,
Hey,
the rest of us are chopped liver.
well, let's do this. You guys, those of you who are here who have questions.
Well, we
you
can't
have-
see
you
the
have
chat
twin-
room.
We have Twinergy here. So if you have questions, let's get you there.
I love it.
Yeah, 3 sets.
Well, we got to
Twinergy.
figure out how to read the chat.
Yeah, Brooke just went outside for a second.
I thought Danny was reading the chat so he could let us know where we're at.
Danny
He's on
never
it.
said he was reading the chat.
Danny said he was taking over.
Danny can't even
can you,
read.
Sandra, can
I
you
can
just
read.
jump in here? We
Well, he
need
can read a little.
Alan.
I'm back.
We need a
Thanks,
radio
guys.
voice. Can you just?
Oh,
come in?
she's back.
Oh,
She's
okay.
back.
Oh,
Say
there
what
she
you
is.
said.
I was just going to come
We'll
on.
shut up
But
now.
we were all connected, so it was all good. We knew you were still connected to us, Kay.
I'm so happy to see you guys here, Sandra and Alan.
Can't
And
believe
Danny.
you left us all alone in the room together. Boy, you're
Yeah.
not right, are you?
She's looking for that Twinergy, man.
Are
Yeah,
you guys
that's a-
helping my peoples? Are y'all helping?
That
Hey,
is a bad idea.
we're all here. We're all here in the heart, baby. We're all here.
I love it. This is great. Unfortunately, though, my chat's been lost, so all I can do is just kind of say nice things because my chat is now repopulating from here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, from this moment. Whatever happened in the chat prior to this, I don't get to see that. So
Would you like me to read the chat?
do it, Danny.
Cool. I feel like, oh, there it goes. It's up. I feel like I'm going through the healing process first so that I can help guide my twin so he can go through his healing process, but I don't know how, where to point him. Can't wait for a session Monday. Oh, maybe I should do some research before reading. I'm looking for a question. Just give me a minute. You guys talk amongst yourself.
Oh, okay.
We need
So
him in
anybody have
every
any-
video.
Anybody have any questions they want to just, we can unmute and ask. We can answer.
Oh, here we go. How does
Oh,
one
okay.
how does one navigate the journey from a parental perspective? How our journey affects our children? In my case, we do not have children together, but children from, man, it keeps moving up. Children from other people. We are not in communication as of a year ago, but our boys connected monthly when I attend classes he held. Son has a hard time when our twin separation happened. I have noticed a correlation between my son's behaviors and what I pick up energetically from my twin. So the question is, how does one navigate the journey from a parental perspective?
I mean, I can start for sure because we're in the same situation where we both had children from other relationships, and we don't have any together. Our children clicked like that, and even in the beginning when they were much younger, and when we went through separations, they stayed connected.
Yeah.
Um,
They knew we were going to end up together.
yeah, they somehow knew.
They could see a connection that we couldn't see because we weren't connected to ourselves.
Yeah.
In other words, we weren't parenting our own inner children for our inner children to parent us. So what ended up happening is the more we were going through those wounds actually combine you. You will take on some of their parental wounds just as you've taken on your parents' parental wounds. Pay very close attention to what I'm saying. Sometimes those wounds that you're coming from aren't even yours. And how are you healing those wounds? How are you connecting to the you inside of those wounds? How do you stay connected to you? It's interesting because every child that comes in this home comes over to us and people don't understand it. But then they start to come over too and they figure it out. Our inner children are here now. That's what the connection is bringing you back to. The emptiness, but the love, right? So it's almost like you got to go through those wounds to reach that because you kind of disconnected from your inner child. Your inner child never disconnected from you. So how are you parenting that child will come from what your parents did to you. You're doing to that child. We've seen it. We've talked to thousands at this point. We can see how that algorithm has kept everybody disconnected.
It really does trickle down to our physical children.
Yeah. You're carrying wounds that have nothing to do with you, but it keeps driving you nuts because you don't know where it comes from. You got to go inside to find the missing pieces of that puzzle. Isn't that?
Uh-oh, here comes trouble.
Love
So I got another one lined up if you want.
All right,
Yes, Danny, throw them at us.
I don't have a beautiful voice like Kay, so just bear with me. I have a soulmate lurking around for some time, and he's very persistent lately. I intend to tell him about the connection I have with my twin so that he gets it. By keeping him at a distance, it seems that I'm keeping someone that wants to love me at a distance. Somehow it feels like I'm lying to myself and keeping love away from me, but by not telling him all of my truth, I would like a little input from Sherry, since she has been in a similar situation with a soulmate and knew, but didn't necessarily understand about the connection with Lee. And that's me to read the question at the top about soulmates, you know, and lingering around and why they're there. I've got all kinds of things I'd love to say, but I'm going to mute myself.
I'd like to hear what you have to say, Danny, but I do. No, I really would. I want to kind of answer it with, I know this. I know that I would never have been able to trust Lee or be as vulnerable with Lee if the soulmate didn't come first and help me begin to open that up.
Big time.
I really feel he was a catalyst in allowing me to be me.
Mm-hmm.
Where the one behind it wanted to change me, literally turned me into something physically that I didn't recognize, and emotionally that I didn't recognize. But I was who I was. I was myself when I was with the soulmate. But I knew that he wasn't the big love. I knew that. I knew it. I knew in my soul that he wasn't it, but he was there to show me a lot of things. And one of those things was I was able to be heard and I was able to be vulnerable. But I still had those big blocks up, man. And it was hard. It was hard for me. And then when we broke up, I knew he wasn't the big love because I didn't chase him. but I felt satisfied. Like I felt I got out of that what I needed out of it. And it was a lot. It was a lot of self-worth. He pulled me out of a town that was a dead town into a better place for me and my kids. He showed me a better life as a single mom. Yeah, a whole lot of things. He opened my eyes to a whole different life. And I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't without him. And I guess one of the other main things was I learned from that particular soulmate is if you believe in yourself enough and set goals, you have to take the steps, but you will get there. When I met the man, he was coaching in the high school level and then went on to coach at the college level, but his dream was to coach in the NFL someplace warm. And he coached for the Oakland Raiders, and he's at the Ravens now, but he did it. And he showed me that you can do it, anything you put your mind to. I learned a lot from him. I hope that helped.
I have a clarifying question about that.
Yeah.
Were you in the place to believe that before you met Lee? Those things? Was any of that true for you before?
Which part? The things about me?
That you learned, yeah.
No.
Were they in there before?
No, I had no self-worth. I had been married for so many years in an abusive relationship, an abusive marriage, really. And I was just trying to survive and raise 3 kids on my own. And my baby was 4 weeks old when I left. And I had a 7 and an 8-year-old and a brand new baby, and I left. And I don't know where I found the courage to do that, but shortly after I found the courage to do that, did I meet this person. I think it was me opening up and finding the courage to do that led me to that person. And that person set me on the path to Lee.
Gotcha. Soulmates serve a purpose.
They sure do.
Amen, sister.
Amy Wang Chong asks, she says, it's so easy to connect in the 5D without all the complications. As our Earth is going to increase in vibration to 4D, is it still worth it to union in the 3D if the whole purpose is to learn unconditional love and it's already learned just from knowing the twin?
Not sure if I got the question. Did you?
What actually is the question?
Right. Is it worth it to try and create a union in the 3D if we're all ascending to 5D anyway?
What is your vision of the 3D currently?
Well,
It's like there's a piece missing there that it's not going to connect really to what's being asked, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, the piece missing, I'll just add this if I may.
Okay.
This was given to me several years ago that we think about the dimensions as an escalator where, okay, we can just take a step up and we leave the step behind us behind. I've been shown that's not actually how they work. They're a bit more like Russian nesting dolls. And that 3D sits somewhere in the middle, and then you've got 4D surrounding and encompassing, and 5D surrounding and encompassing. Just because you expand to a 5D level of consciousness, you don't leave the 3D. It's inside, and you can expand past 5D. You can expand 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 12th, whatever dimension. You can expand. It's about an expansion in your consciousness as opposed to a departure from a place. That's what I've been shown. But I don't know. Sandra and Alan, Lee and Sherry, do you guys have other thoughts about this?
We got to try to
Okay,
find
the direct answer is in the 5D, you don't know what thought is. So you shouldn't even need to worry about that. So what you got to do is you got to realize that you're going to have to feel your way through everything, because thinking really never equated to what you really feel. It just doesn't. And if that's what's being stripped away from you, how will you exist in a world that feels everything?
Okay, this is Amy. Can I ask, kind of tell more detail on my question?
Do it, Amy.
Okay, so my question is that, okay, let's see. So from what you said, the whole purpose of us knowing the twin flame is that we know what unconditional love is, that we can share with other people, let's say the whole earth, and, you know, increase the vibration. So, you know, for me, I learned, you know, unconditional love that I can share with others, and I feel the connection in the 5D. However, in the 3D, if like we are both have a committed relationship and married, and to walk the high road, that I would not want to jeopardize either of the marriage. So it seems to be, you know, being honorable, doing something like that. You know,
Did we lose her? Did we lose?
friend, it's like I feel like maybe I'm being emotionally not, you know, like not faithful. So my question is, hey, you know, if I'm already learned the lesson, why do we have to struggle to union in 3D where we could possibly hurt other people, which we don't want to do that?
Right. And the girl inside of your hurt, how are you connected to her?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Right. The girl who's hurt on the inside of you, how are you connected to her?
No, I think I like what you said. We have both feminine and masculine inside of me. So I am healing myself, being my own mother, you know, so I think I can self-heal without, if you're saying the twin flame is our other self, where, you know, we can access the divine masculine within us. So then I can heal by being my own mother, and by being my own father, and still have the connection with the twin flame on the 5D without the 3D complications.
I understand that, but it sounds like the girl on the inside of you has been hurt a lot, right? She's been hurt, and she sometimes doesn't know how to trust connection. Is this true?
No, because she doesn't want to deal with the guilt, and you know, by going through the 3D stuff, and, you know, if she already found the unconditional love, her unconditional love is for everybody concerned, you know, not for her own gain or for her own union, but for the highest good of all.
And what's your first name again?
Amy?
Amy. If we all could sit in this room with you, and that feeling that you calling guilt, if we took guilt off of the feeling and we just sat with that feeling with you, could we change that feeling?
I think the feeling would be like what the, you know, I understand what your question is. So if the 3D, if you have a commitment, let's say with your soul contract with a soulmate, then you feel like you're bound by that maybe piece of paper or that connection. And you know, if that person is also good to you, that even increase the guilt. If you say, hey, you know, that person is terrible to me, then you don't have as much guilt as you would appreciate the other person who is still good to you, however they are not your twin flame.
How often are you good to you?
I would say most of the time.
You know that most of the time is not all the time. So we got to get you to all the time. That's all it takes. Because you deserve all the time. You shouldn't be doing most of the time to yourself. That makes somebody else responsible for what you're not giving you, doesn't it?
Yeah, but your twin flame is also a human. So
yes.
Your twin flame is, they will have their faults, and they probably can only be good to you most of the time. You have to be good to yourself 100% of the time. You cannot depend on your twin flame to you 100% of the time.
They can only give you what you give yourself. Is that not true?
That's true. That's what I'm saying.
So
So
he can only give you most of the time. He can't give you all the time. So I'm trying to make sure that you can give yourself all the time so they can too.
I do. That's my, going back to my question. If I can give myself 100% of the time, the unconditional love that I deserve, and I feel this connection with my twin flame in the 5D, why do we still struggle in the 3D where we could potentially hurt others, which we don't want?
We had this same thing happen with us, and we kept telling ourselves we deserve each other. And what we didn't realize is we were telling each other we deserved a pond instead of deserving an ocean. It's almost like you got to expand what you're saying and feeling at the same time. And I'm trying to say it in ways that will help you understand that I'm not avoiding the question. I'm actually asking the question inside of you so you can see that you already have your answer. You don't want somebody to give you most of the time. You want them to give you all the time. So if you give you all the time, won't they too?
But I think her question's more surrounded by
Is it that what you want them just let's just take the twin flame. Let's just take flame.
That's gonna help.
Let's take flame as a word, okay? Flame as a word. Flame also is fire, right? And you feel the heat from that fire. The twin
Correct.
is mirroring you what your actual flame of what your feeling is. They're not mirroring what your thoughts are about the flame. They can only show you that you have certain thoughts about your flame that are keeping your fire out, not lit. The thoughts are doing that to you. So if you're trying to connect the two things, they're only going to give you what matches the flame, not the fire of the flame. I hope that makes sense.
But what she's asking is, what is the point? Like, what is the point of a 3D journey? What is the point?
It's the furthest.
Because
it's the furthest reach away from connection.
I'm going to say, because I asked this question just yesterday morning to myself, like, what is the point? What is the point of this? Why do we have to go through this here if the destination is there? Okay, what is am I correct? And is that the direction?
You're right. I'm just conflicted because, you know, if the whole twin flame journey is teaching us about unconditional love, and then, you know, if we cannot unconditional love everybody, including our soulmate or karmic partner, how is that unconditional love where we would sacrifice one relationship for another and possibly hurting others?
Can I jump in here, guys?
Yes, please.
I just want to say, Amy, you're right. You don't have to do that. There is no mandate that you have to do anything.
Anything, right?
At all. So if you don't want to be with your twin flame in any capacity in the 3D, resembling a romantic relationship because of the pain you might cause another person, you don't have to. However, this wasn't a webinar for people who didn't want that. And that was really clear in the language surrounding the invitation. So the fact that you joined and you've been here with us for 1 hour and 20 minutes already is indicative to me that there is some level of investment and commitment to having something in the 3D that maybe consciously you're not aware of, but your subconscious has you holding out because you're here.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, Kay. I have this desire, that's what the conflict is, because, you know, if I just listen to my heart, yes, I have this passion, right? Like what Lee said, the fire, right? But, you know, I cannot justify from my morality, you know, my head. You know, I'm in this because, yes, I do crave for the 3D union. However, you know, how do I come to a place that I can justify my morality between my head and my heart? That's the question. I'm not trying to argue
No, that's,
with anybody.
Now
that I can answer.
There it is.
I can answer that. I can answer that all day long.
Thank you.
So basically what you're saying is your thoughts don't let your heart out. That's basically what you're saying. Your thoughts are keeping your heart in a prison, and you're tired of the prison and you don't know how to let your heart out. Is that what you're saying? Because that's a condition, not unconditional. The condition is you're letting your mind have your energy, not your heart. Why don't you just give your heart a chance? You'll be surprised at what it can show you can do. I promise you. You know how I know the truth about that? Do you want to know how you can find that inside of yourself?
Sure.
The day that you were in conception, your mother and father did something on the inside of your mother, and you actually created a heartbeat that they looked for. Who's looked for it since? And if it's not you, then unconditional will remain conditioned. Yes, the heart was the first thing they looked for, not a brainwave. Are you choosing your heart first, knowing that it was the first thing they looked for? So thought is something we come into this world and actually learn. But you already learned a heartbeat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did we lose Kay?
I don't know.
No, I'm right here. Amy, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for answering. It's just, yeah, I have to chew on that and try to find the balance, I guess. Thank you for taking my question.
Absolutely.
And thank you for, let me have the floor. I appreciate that. And I think,
Absolutely. I think a lot of people have the same question. We really do. We're still trying to figure out how we got in our head in the first place. I think a lot of people are still trying to figure that out. And maybe that's what Kay's talking about with this alignment. This shift is going to be people who are going to feel things. They don't want to think anymore. You're not experiencing a life if you're not feeling anything. And here comes this connection, and you feel another person, and they feel you. Why you're going to your head about it? You were taught to. And we're all trying to break away from that and feel each other because bodies of water connect. That's what we are. We're surrounded by 75% of it. Why are we thinking about it and not being it? I get it. But the mind and its dialogue is never going to heal anything if you're not feeling it. It's just not. It's keeping you from it. We're going through some stuff. We got to go through the feeling thing right now. That's all we got. We're deeply connected in feeling, and it's the foundation of connection. Sandra and Ellen will tell you, Danny and Brooke will tell you, any set of twins who actually made it to union said, if you're in your head, you're going to cause problems in your union. They'll tell you that. But I don't know, Sandra and Ellen, you want to chime in and say amen or, something? Because it's literally, that's the case. And you're trying to figure out on your own, by yourself, not connecting to anyone, how to get out of your own head. That's the head's trap. You can't set that on fire. You have to accept it so you can at least tone it down. Start watching what it's telling you. Start paying attention if it's telling you you can be loved or you can't be loved. You need to start paying attention to what your mind tells you. Not giving energy for what it tells you, but energy of watching what it tells you.
I know even in union, it was a constant struggle for us to get out of our heads and in our hearts. And that was holding us back from our true potential, but it was also showing us how to go deeper within for healing and to heal those things, right? There was even a point where we couldn't talk to each other because we had to go within and do that healing and get out of our heads and move into our heart space. So.
Can I ask a question, please?
Absolutely.
That was a great question, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question, please?
Go for it.
Thank you so much. My twin flame changed so much my life. because I met him on a road for 1 minute, and it was in 2001. And in 2008, I went to Israel, and I was just praying about family and kids. When I come back, I bumped to my twin flame again. But I don't know why. I don't know why I ran away from him. So I never had a chance to find out his name. I know that he looked the same, totally the same. The question is, why do I would need this experience with my twin flame? Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. What was the
Why
last?
I needed this experience if I dated so many years and I never had a chance to create a family? But I think, like, why I needed this experience with my twin flame? Why? Like, it's really,
Why she needed this experience?
yeah.
Who have you ever shared your heart with before your
I-
twin flame? Who have you ever shared your heart with before your twin flame?
Were you able to share your heart before you met your twin flame?
Yes.
Yes, I've been dating a lot. I've been dating many people. Like, I was going on a dates a lot, but I never had a chance, like, to feel that deep love. And when I met my twin flame, I realized that I've been looking especially for that person. But we separated, and I never find out his name and nothing about him.
Oh.
Yeah.
And my question is, should I look for him, even if I don't know anything about him?
Yeah, because if you go look for him, you're going to need to do one thing. You need to get rid of, you're never going to have true love. You need to chalk that shit out the window, because that's not you. Apparently true love is looking for you, so you should be looking for it. Don't tell yourself you can never have it. It would be just that simple if the mind would let it be, but it's just not.
What do you mean? I should go put a post, look for him?
Yeah, I'm
Did she
saying.
say through the forest?
Well, here's the thing. In
I
the
don't
forest,
think she said through the forest.
is the
She
forest-
didn't say through the forest. Did
No,
she say through the
I think she, but she said Neverland too. So we got to
No,
make
she
sure.
didn't.
She
She
said
said
never.
the forest. She said,
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
for him. I need to know what
For
she
him.
said. Yes. Okay.
For him, yes.
We're not going to send you out to no forest, honey. I'm not going to let that happen.
No.
But, you know, oh, man, I suggest you go find him.
Yeah.
Or I suggest you
At least
open
get
your,
his name.
I suggest
Start
you
there.
open your heart up to finding him,
Yeah.
and stop making it a conflict, and open your heart up to finding him. That's your first step.
Yeah.
But the point is, in a twin flame community, we talk, the more you're looking for your twin flame, the more energy go away, like, because you connected by energy. And a lot of twin flames, it said, if I'm looking for him, so he pull away from me. Is it true?
If you're looking for him, he's going to pull away from you.
Well, let
Yeah.
us ask you. Well, let me ask you this: any man that you've ever gone after, has he chosen you?
You mean if I've been dating over men?
I'm saying any man that you've gone after, has he come back and met you there? You know what I mean? So you're saying all the men that you've been with, did you go to them or did they come to you?
No, I've been searching because I really wanted family.
Okay.
And
So when you searched somebody you wanted to feel a connection to build that family with, or did you just search for a man to build a family with? Hear the difference? Did you search for a man you would have a connection to build a family, or did you just search for a man?
yeah, I
And-
just searched for any man to have a family.
Right. Now search for a man you're connected to. See, it's a change of energy. You're choosing you want to chase a man you want to build a family with, but you got to change up what you're feeling if you're going after a man you're connected to. because it sounds so different because you think you can approach him. If he has a connection to you, he's not going to feel it if you're not searching for it. You're searching for a man to have a family with, extend your life with, but you're not searching for a man to be connected to who will do that with you. Does that make sense?
But with the years, I realized that I'm so tired of dating.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, why do I need it with twin flame connection? Like if I couldn't never like find out nothing about him.
Well, you deserve to have more. You've always deserved to have more. You deserve somebody to connect back to you.
I would stop trying to look for a twin flame connection and just try to look for someone that you're connected to.
Yes.
Just try to find someone.
It'll teach you something.
Try to find the people you're connected to.
This connection don't play when it teaches
you
you
open up yourself like that, the right one's going to come along and find you. The one you're connected to is going to find you in that same space.
Yep. But you got to search for connection in you so you can search for connection outside. So you got to connect to what you really want. And if you want somebody who's going to be all for your heart, then you're going to have to be for all your heart first, because you won't open up a door you didn't walk through.
I
realized like only
forward.
twin flame.
I'm so sorry, my dear. We have to move forward. Let me go ahead and move to the next question. Thank you. That was a good question, but I think that's absolutely the right answer. We connect to ourselves and just look for connection as it's appearing. You don't have to look for a twin flame. Look for the connection that's showing up. Next question says, from Allison Scoff, if communication has stopped, is it best to wait for the twin to restart it?
Oh, well, then you could be waiting for each other to restart it for a long, long time.
She's got a point.
Because I could be just as stubborn as he could at times. And if one of us didn't break, we wouldn't be sitting here today.
I broke her.
So one or the other, one or the other is going to have to come off some.
Is communication important to you? If it is, don't stop. But if communication isn't important to you, then what's the question? So you see what I'm saying? It's almost like you're looking for permission to give yourself to communicate to him. It sounds like you want to talk to him, so why aren't you? And if you're not going to do it, if you're stopping yourself from doing that, do you consider that rejection? And then you're telling yourself they're going to reject you. Don't do that. That's you rejecting you. They're not in the space to communicate with you. Don't tell yourself they're not talking to you. Are you talking to yourself? And if so, are you listening?
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Because when you think about it, in a connection that has less charge, do you get upset when your friend hasn't messaged you back right away? No, you just be like, girl, you all right? Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
As long as you're fine, I'm fine. Just making sure you're good. Like, sometimes we need to take the charge out of things.
Right.
From Kinsley Greuter, it feels like a shift has occurred during my separation. Before, I felt him only sporadically, but lately I'm having feelings of happiness and marriage and connection with him. Does this mean reunion is near, or is it just my wishful thinking?
Has thinking ever had union?
I don't want her to try to push away. I don't want her to try to sabotage that by overthinking it. And that's what it sounds like she's doing. She's overthinking it.
Yeah.
Just be in it.
I guess.
Just be in it.
Yeah. The secret to union is being present with the person you're connected to.
Be present.
That's the secret. It's not really a secret.
There is no future.
There's no future.
No past.
So when you're saying, is this a path towards reunion? You just jump to the future and abandon this moment that you're connected in. Are you sure you want to keep doing that? That's just going to end you up with what you already have. When you're jumping out here, you're not staying in here.
Yeah.
So who are you asking them to connect to? The girl out here or you in here? So if you want union, shouldn't you just stay in here, in the here and now, and actually experience it?
Yeah, because she used the word reunion.
Yeah.
And do you want the reunion? Do you want the of what you had that you broke away from? Or do you want a union? You know what I mean? You got to take the out of that. And if you're in a friendship and you're in a in a healthy, loving place, which it sounds like you are, then that's union.
Yeah.
Right? Then are we heading towards reunion? Because you don't want to rehab what you had.
And she has a shirt that she has that's called Pete. And if you look on the back, it says re. So reunion also is repeat. So notice that Pete and union don't need a re before it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put a re before it, you're just going to keep repeating, aren't you? And we know Pete. We know Pete very well. He don't like to be repeated.
Clearly there was a separation there, and clearly there was reasons for that separation. And if you want to get into reunion, that's exactly what you're going to get into.
So make sure that all of what puts you guys separate is now in a place where it's in a calm space where you guys can talk about it openly and there's no disconnects. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, what you're looking for isn't the path forward, it's the path behind you.
Love it. Thank you. That's a great answer and fabulous question. Marsha Weldon asks, how does our healing process affect our twin if they don't want to heal and we're in separation? Is there any kind of reverberation, energetic impact when we're healing? Do they feel anything?
Well, we get this a lot.
So he
don't we?
Doesn't want to heal, so he wants to hurt all the time.
Well, yeah, and there are a lot of them out there that aren't ready, and we get the other side a lot with it's just not ready, and that's just it. He's just not ready. They're just not ready.
I wasn't ready. She saw us get 80 years old when we finally got in union. Trust me, she saw it many a time. I think I even had the dream like, I'm going to be in a wheelchair. You're going to be wheeling me around. It was like, I'm going to go this whole separate direction. So yeah, those things happen.
Yeah, and to me, you not being ready, me not being ready means the union wasn't ready. Right? Because the union starts with you, right? You, right? And you weren't ready. I was going to try to make you ready. If I wasn't ready, you were trying to make me ready. And that's not a flow. That's not a universal flow at all. When we tried to make things happen, and believe me, we did, it always crashed and burned, and we would just stayed in the flow of things and stayed present with one another and stopped looking forward to what is coming, what could be coming, and what should be coming, and all the things that were coming, right? Whether they were good or bad, we were looking outward and not staying in that moment with one another.
Absolutely.
And really realizing that we spent so much time wondering where it went.
Yeah.
Like, where did that time go? Well, we were in a whole other place.
And the best way to really answer that is to just place inside of yourself, are you the you in union?
Yeah. Love that.
Love it. Thank you. Andrea Fraser asks, my twin's in another relationship for the past 2 years. I truly want to reach out to apologize, but also to see how is she doing. But I also want to respect her relationship. Should I just keep connected via telepathy and follow the do unto others as they would do unto me?
I'm going to go with, I would have to know a little bit more about how their relationship in any way was, or is there a friendship base there where it would feel comfortable enough to reach out to her and say, hey, I just want to know how you're doing. And if you're good, that's great. I'm doing great. That kind of thing. But it seems to me like they're already feeling like there would be an issue somewhere along, or they would be stepping along over the line of messing with somebody's marriage. I felt like at one point I would be intruding on your relationship should I have sent an email. And I didn't want to do that. I would suggest personally, without knowing any more about how your relationship is or how long you've been in separation, because I don't know those things, I would personally say, continue the telepathy. Make sure there's an open line of communication, which means make sure there's a way if she wants to get a hold of you that she could get a hold of you. And if she does, then go with it. And if she does not, then you've done the right thing. But I wouldn't, if you already feel like an inner conflict about you don't want to step on her marriage, it already tells me that there's a boundary there.
I went through that.
Yeah.
I went through that.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that very clearly now. When you were with Ron and you guys had the baby, and I was like, and we finally realized how deep the connection was and how it wasn't going away. And I didn't want to do anything to your marriage. I didn't want to have, you know, I just wanted you to know that I felt where you're at, and I felt where I'm at with you and where that feeling is. But what I started to realize that I was doing is I was making my thoughts punish that feeling. Mm-hmm. My thoughts wanted to end me and tell me I shouldn't feel you at all. And I didn't realize that was a war between my feelings and my thoughts. I thought it was my war with you and what you were doing. And it really wasn't the case at all. Right. So until I realized that I wanted to take telling myself that I couldn't be connected to the feeling of you, I realized that was my thoughts doing that to me. That wasn't you.
Yeah, it's an energy thing. It's an energy thing too, very much an energy thing.
The blurred line for me though, and this is the blurred line that I realize now, that I didn't know a good way to communicate it. The telepathy I had from my heart to heart with you was where I stayed. Right. Not the one in the head. That was where I got into danger.
Yeah. So, you know, if you're wanting to send it, reach out to her, and it's truly and genuinely, and the energy is there that you really genuinely want to just know that she's okay and that she's got a happy life. I really don't see anything wrong with that.
You did that.
But if the energy behind it is opening up a window for opportunity, then she's going to feel that when she reads it as well. So it really is an energy. It really is going to come out if the energy's not sincere.
But in situations like this, it, like, contextually speaking, it does behoove someone to have, like, actually be in conversation with you so that you can assist them with this, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So for people who aren't clients, if you guys want to talk to Leah and Sherry, because we are going to have to wrap up here in about 15 minutes, what can they do who need more support here? If you're not already one of their clients, what's the next step someone should take if they're hearing this?
Well, we would love to talk to you for a complimentary 30 minutes. You can email us at info@relationshipreinvented.com. We do run specials if you come from K-Moon, because she's very special. We actually have dubbed it the K-Moon special, and we really have. It's
just
only
put K-Moon special.
It's official and everything. It's ridiculous. I love it.
We guarantee you in 30 minutes we'll heal something.
Yeah, something.
Connect you back to something, because that you deserve that. And that should start a path for you to keep you looking for other ways to find ways to heal your connection to yourself. Because without healing the connection to yourself, who are you asking anyone to connect to?
We got a coach actually in our room.
Yeah, we got two of them.
Two of them?
Yeah,
yes, and that's
hey, girls. Hey, girl.
Coaches.
Yeah, we do.
Some of our coaches are here.
They're going through it, so they'll be able to help soon too.
Yes.
And for those of you who are light workers who feel really called to work with twins in some capacity or another, but you're not sure how or what, their coaching program may be the stepping stone you've been looking for. And you can become a connection coach and really support and facilitate connection in not just this community, but the global community. Because we really are seeing people struggling to be in connection in a new way at this time. And your light may be exactly what is being called for. So Vibe and Shine asks, it's taken me 20 plus years to reach where I am on my spiritual journey. And I'm looking at my twin and where he was last time I saw him. And honestly, I've lost all hope for him to wake up. He seems super set in his ways, but then I hear that sometimes that twin and other people are waking up now, and that their waking up can be as fast as switching on a light. Is this true? I think you had a light switch, Lee.
He has a switch.
I find switches in everything and everyone, and I found them in me first. I didn't know that when I found it, it's interesting because just yesterday, Sherry and I found another switch that I had, and we got a piece of the puzzle to remove that switch.
I don't want to get too far off though.
Yeah.
I don't want to know what her switch was.
Yeah.
What was the end of the question? I want to know what I want to.
I've given up hope on my connection or my person actually evolving, but I hear that people can evolve with a switch.
Give up hope. That is correct. Give up hope.
That's good.
That's perfect.
You're on the right
Because hope
track.
is dangerous. Hope is a very dangerous thing. Hope is something always out of reach. So you're giving up the right thing, but you're going to have to replace it with something. Why don't you replace it with you? So
I hope they will come back. I hope they will find me. I hope they will love me. I hope they feel me. I hope they hear me.
The space
The
that
whole
gets created.
space. Yes.
You got to create the space. Once you remove hope, you got to create the space in the now. Because never hope is a distance. It's not right
Someday.
here. Yeah, it's not a day of the week. Hope is a very dangerous thing.
Lee used to tell me all the time, we're going to be together someday or one day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Lee, one day isn't a day of the week, buddy.
Yeah.
That's not telling me anything. We're going to be together someday. What is that? Monday? What is that? Tuesday? That's not Tuesday.
So
that's one day.
Instead of giving up hope that one day he's going to wake up, say he's waking up right now. I promise you, she did that to me at a distance, and it works.
Yeah.
It works. But you got to be ready to receive them too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. Because if your receipt of them is in the energy of he's never going to make it, then yeah.
It's in the unagi.
It's in the unagi.
Take never out of there too, guys. Remember.
Yeah.
There's my girl. Never
is a very dangerous. Never's a dangerous word.
Never's not even coming.
Yeah, you put never across your heart. The twin isn't the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, someday
it's
might
something
come.
in you that made you put never across your heart.
Someday may come.
That's the problem. If you don't know how to do that, that's why we're here. Because there's so many people stuck like that. It's not your fault. We can wield you back and connect you back to the you that said never. And you can change it. You're allowed. Don't forget, you do matter. Because you're made up of matter.
Hey,
I love
can
it.
you just
Please
hi.
go for it. Yes.
I just wondered if you could repeat your email address again, because I didn't have a chance to write it down.
relationshipreinvent@gmail.com is the fastest way to write that. Or you can do info@relationshipreinvented.com.
Yeah.
The shorter way probably would be the faster way.
No. Trust me, everybody. He is less right on this. Less right. Trust me.
You would know. She's sitting on my left.
Look, he is less right. I am more right on this than he is.
She's on the left.
Either one of those email addresses
depending on how you're viewing the screen,
will get us, but info@relationshipreinvented.com is easier.
Thank you very much.
We'll put it on.
maybe Danny can type.
We'll put it on the typer thing. We'll put it on the typer thing. Listen at me, the typer thing.
Kay put it up there. Thank you, Kay.
But yeah, making up names for machines and everything now.
Yeah.
Awesome. India Rose says, I understand there's a lot of encouragement about communicating. This will probably be our second to last question. A lot of encouragement about communicating, but currently my twin and I are not consistently speaking. A friendly email or two here and there, yet I am blocked on his side on social media or their side on social media. Because of that inconsistency, I'm not really sure how to proceed. I know I can always shoot an email and get a nice quick response, but I prefer my DM take the steps to unblock me and reinitiates a more consistent connection. What do I do?
Having problems being blocked on social media is a big thing, right? Do
you want to connect to them or their avatar? Because who you're connecting to on social media is not the person you want in your life.
Right.
And we really struggled through that too. I mean, there were a lot of emails, there were a lot of direct messages, there were a lot of letters written, even sent through the postal service. But if you really look at it, ultimately what I wanted more than anything is to be her to connect to me in my physical form, not through social media, not through anything else, because sometimes you're not getting the full picture. You don't want a glimpse, you want the whole thing. So if you're worried about social media, you're focused on the wrong part of the connection. Why don't you focus on what you want? Don't you want to hear from them every day? If you want to pick up the phone and say hi in the morning or say good morning, do it. Nobody's stopping you. So if you're trying to unblock yourself in different ways, start with what you do have. You have a voice. You have hands that can reach out. You have a whole body that can do a whole bunch of things. You can't do that through the internet. You just can't. So if you want something real, show something real.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up. Haley asks, what does it mean when you can physically feel your twin's energy? We spoke the other week and I felt him once and acknowledged it and stayed with it, and I've been feeling him every day since.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, you do, Haley. That's beautiful.
That's awesome. Was there a question there, though? What
does it mean when you have that kind of experience?
You're creating a foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah, just stay in that energy.
In that
don't try to tell yourself where it's going to lead. Don't tell yourself where it's been.
Don't label it.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Just be in it. Mm-hmm. You're allowed to feel. You got to give you permission first to feel good about where you're at. If you're going to build from it, you got to stay in it.
So beautiful. Based on everything we've shared here, we've gotten through a lot of the questions, and we're coming down to the final 7 minutes. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you feel is really important based on the patterns you're seeing in your sessions and in the collective that you want to share?
I do. There's seemingly, I wanted to talk to Sandra about this too, so I'm glad that she's here. But there's seemingly at this point, there was, a raining of, I want to say love and peace and all these things, right? And it seems like when we had that, all that 3 thing with the full moon and in the eclipse was so cleansing. It seems like we had such a cleansing. But recently what we're seeing is, just in the past couple weeks, is more and more blockage and less communication, more and more frustration. The anger's building back up where it had been like releasing, right? And I had looked at Lee the other day, and we're not astrologists in any way, shape, or form. Nor do we play any on TV. But I said, there's got to be something in this, in the planetary things that's happening. So we've got to ask our planetary friends. But we're just noticing the communication, the miscommunication, not the less of communication, the miscommunication. Yeah. Hi. Well, why are you being such a dick? Well, all I said was hi. Right? We're noticing a lot of snappiness. Yeah. A lot of snappiness lately. And a lot of just frustration.
Yeah, we've been paying very close attention to a lot of different things, and have seen a large surge in broken heart syndrome start to happen across the planet because nobody's staying connected to where they should be. And if you don't know anything about broken heart syndrome, the heart doesn't need symptoms, it needs you. And you let your symptoms take over you. So what ends up happening, even in this connection, and we're seeing this algorithm, we're seeing it either get stronger from the heart or change inside the heart. So I guess collectively, we're all starting to understand that we've been out of touch with how we feel. And maybe it's time we get back into what we know. We know that feeling is the path of this life, not thinking about it. And it seems to be very deeply embedded in what you learned when you first got You forgot how to be the innocence. You forgot how to be vulnerable. It's still in there. And that's the only way this connection is going to soar and heal this planet and each other. But you got to make a choice to heal yourself. You won't let anybody connect to you if you want them to connect to you right now. Would they be connecting to the hurt you or the healing you? That's what you got to search for. And we're here to tell you, we've been through everything that should have ripped us apart. And we stayed with the feeling of connection with one another. And we've survived our own minds to do it. So be the hero of your story and start listening to your heart. If it's telling you to reach out, if you don't listen to your heart, do you see yourself rejecting your own heart? To understand why anybody else would reject it too. Change this. You're seeing pure love sitting here. And that love is on the inside of your pain, not away from it. I think everybody's tired of running from what they don't feel. That's what we're coming to. So let's be the leaders and do it. This connection found you for a reason. It chose you. But aren't you sure you chose it? Be very careful. The mind is set up to keep you in a way that makes you a part of the world, but the world isn't a part of you. It's time for the world to be a part of you, right? Otherwise, who are you asking anyone to connect to? We love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today.
We love you too, and thank you.
Oh. She gave me butterflies. You need to stop that. We've already danced some butterflies, but we'll take care soon. Come on, bring them over.
Oh, we love all of you guys.
Yeah.
What did he draw?
Oh, Danny's a drawer.
Look, he drew Lee.
Oh.
That is you.
Yeah.
That's you. Danny drew Lee. That's awesome. Keep
Good
that,
job.
please.
Yeah, send that to me.
Keep
in
that,
the mail,
please.
please.
I'd like to decorate
I want
that.
a picture. I want to put it on a shirt. I want to put it on a shirt.
I'll put it on a shirt.
And I'm going to put it right above it. I'm going to put "Be Here Now" up underneath it.
There it is. We love you guys. Where's Kay?
I'm right here. I'm right here.
Okay, girl.
But I will just echo that there actually is something astrologically in the water, and I will be talking about it on the channel. The snappiness is going to rise and amplify. That kind of anger energy is going to rise and amplify. The triggering is going to rise and amplify between now and November. And there is something you can do about it, because what's amplifying is simply the exposure of your own wounding. It's the Mars and Aries thing. Aries is the self, Mars is our ambition. There's a retrograde, but Mars is going to talk to Chiron for a lot of this, and Chiron is about our wounds. And so talking to Lee and Sherry and having them, really to have your back while you move through this transit, if you already recognize frustration levels rising, I'm just going to tell you now, it's not them, it's you.
Beautiful you. Beautiful you.
Yeah, and thank God that the world is going to now mirror back to us where we are wounded, so we can finally heal it once and for all. So get your sessions, people. Get your sessions. info@relationshipreinvented.com. If you are not already a client, they can really help you break down and understand where those core wounds are, so that you're not, sitting out here with your triggers out for everyone, or your buttons out for everyone to press them over the next 6 months. You don't want to go through the next 6 months like that. Trust me. You want to get a handle on those triggers sooner rather than later, because those will also, like that curling analogy, smooth the way in this union pathway for you. It's going to allow connection to flourish and grow. All right.
All right.
Carrie, Sandra, and Ellen, and the other coaches on the call. I saw a lot of other coaches here. I thank you all for being here. It was such a
Thanks,
treat
Sarah was
to
in here
have
somewhere.
you.
Yeah, we've had a couple of our coaches. We saw a few of our coaches in here. Love you guys so much.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
Yes.
Awesome. Take
All
care.
right.
Bye for
We'll
now.
see you.
Thank you so much for checking out this second Union Energy Update for the year of 2020. As I mentioned, there is a special fundraiser, a GoFundMe available to assist Lee and Sherry with making sure that Sherry gets the medical support that she so much needs at this time to move forward with her ability to continue with her light work on the planet. If you'd like to contribute to that, you'll find a link for the GoFundMe just below this video. And if you would like an invitation to get a twin flame reading from me, you do need to be on the private list at this point. They are not presently available to the public. It's just a way that I am utilizing to manage the inflow because the demand for it is more than I can actually fulfill. So if you would like to join the private list, you will be invited each month to go ahead and book a twin flame reading. And you can find the link for getting on the private list just below this video, as well as the GoFundMe. I thank you so very much for watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing this great content with other twins who may need it. Take great care and bye for now.